64. And I will be 97 on the 4th day of next month.
All right. Could you tell us about being a prisoner of war?
Well, being a prisoner of war isn't anything funny. It's the worst part. What I think of being a prisoner was the food. We didn't get anything to eat. First 3 months was terrible. The stuff that they gave us wasn't fit to eat. And then when they did give us something, was one slice of black bread a day. And that was the first 3 months that was really bad. And of course I was wounded, and I didn't get I never seen a doctor from the time I was wounded, July 15th, 1918, until I was released from prison camp in December the 8th, 1918. I had the only thing that I got on my wounds, I was wounded in both legs with hand grenades, was cold water and paper bandage. They had nothing. The Germans didn't have anything for their own. Of course, we didn't get anything either. After, the first day that I was captured, or the first night that I was captured, I slept in an old barn on a manure pile. Then they moved us out of there into another little village, and they put us in just shanties like a chicken coop with a fence around it. And that's where I got my first lice, cooties we call them. We'd just lousy. We'd sit out in the yard, take our clothes off, and catch these cooties. They were around your waistband, crack them on your thumbnail. Put your clothes back on again, you had a million more. You just couldn't get rid of them. Then we were moved to another place in France. It was a large building, had been a sugar refinery before the war. That was supposed to be the first aid station. And that's where I got my cold water and paper bandage on my wounds. And if you weren't able to get up out of your bunk and walk to the dressing room, you didn't get dressed. And even if you did, by the time you walked back from the dressing room to your bunk, the paper bandage was all off. Of course, I think I was lucky because although I knew I was wounded, I didn't have too much pain. But we had wrapped leggings, and my leggings all the way were soaked with blood, so I knew that I was hit in the leg somewhere. And I guess that somebody was with me because my wounds would heal up, it'd be all right for a while, and they'd break open, become infected, and break open. Then I was moved from that prison camp to another prison camp in Kassel, Germany. There was 3,000 prisoners there. They were all Russians and British, and all the Allies. And I was the only American for a long time. But I can't say that they mistreated me. The only kind of work that I had to do was, they'd give me a buck saw and put me on a wood pile. I had to cut wood for the officers' quarters and keep the officers' quarters cleaned. And then it was about time for potato picking. They put us out in the potato fields and picked potatoes. Now that's about the only work. But while I was there, then my wounds became infected again. They put me in the hospital. But I might say that while we picked potatoes, if we had a Saxon German, like our Germans in this country, they weren't bad, but you get a big Prussian guard, and he was mean. See, we had, our uniforms were breeches. We didn't have trousers like they have now. They were breeches that were laced down the leg. So we'd watch our chance and drop a potato down in them there. Then we'd come into the barracks. If we were lucky, we'd make a fireplace and boil potatoes. That's the way we eat. But if we had a Prussian guard, he would wait till the potatoes were just about done and come along and kick them all over the prison yard there. But I was in the prison hospital then for some time. And after that, it wasn't so bad. After we were moved from there, after I was moved from there, I was taken to a prison camp in Rostock, Germany. That was right on the Rhine River. And there, the food was sent in to us from France. And we got like canned food and bacon, and sometimes we get chocolate bar, we get cigarettes and tobacco. That wasn't too bad. There were 2,500 prisoners there. They were all Americans. All the American prisoners, except the commissioned officers, were in that camp. But it wasn't so bad there. And one thing I want to mention about one of my fellows that I buddied with, you buddy with you have your friends. We decided that we were going to have bean soup that day for dinner. So we get out in the morning, build a fireplace, get a pot of water, we put our beans on there, and drop some of this bacon, they call it bacon, and we boiled from 7 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock. We took a spoon and took a bean out of the pot, throw it up there and catch it on this spoon and go ding. That bean was just as hard when we took it out as when we put it in. But we didn't have bean soup for dinner. But no, I can't say that the Germans mistreated me, although they did. Not so much the Americans as the British did. That before we got into the war. Now, I don't know how many people I have asked, several people, even college graduates, if they knew when the United States declared war on Germany, what the date was. And I doubt I don't think you two boys know either. But the United States declared war on Germany on April the 6th, 1917. And I enlisted May the 8th, 1917. Now, we were taken out of that prison camp then December the 8th, 1918. They come in from France with a hospital train and taken all the prisoners back into France. Back, we crossed the Rhine River into Switzerland and back into Vichy, France. And that was December the 8th, 1918. And I seen a doctor on the next day of December the 9th. That was the first. My leg this leg was real bad. It was like that. They wanted to take it off. And I put up an argument. They didn't take it off, but I was transferred then from that hospital to another hospital in Périgueux, France. And March the 12th, 1918, I left France and landed in New York on the 24th. That's just a brief outline of my life in the prison camp. There were many things. There was one thing I'd like to mention while in the prison camp. In this one prison camp we were in, there were all French and Italians, and like all our allies. And we had hobnail shoes then. And this one Frenchman came to my bunk, and he seen this pair of shoes, and he liked to have them. It seemed that the French, when they were captured, they all had a big wooden box full of food, bread, canned stuff. So I made a deal with him. I traded my shoes to him for a half a loaf of bread. But that night, I watched where his bunk was, and I went back and stole my shoes. Because I had to have bread and I had to have shoes. But that was part of it. And that's about, I could tell you different stories, but it'd take too long.
When you got back into Meyersdale, how did the citizens of Meyersdale react to?
Well, when I got back into Meyersdale, that was April. I was discharged April the 19th, 1919. When the only people at the railroad station were my people. Because you see, no one knew when we were coming back. So there wasn't anybody. As far as I knew, we didn't get any big welcomes. I never did. All of it. During my service. But
You just mentioned you wrote